Welcome back. We are covering 5.4 multiplying polynomials. We're going to break up this section into two videos. So this first part, we're going to focus on multiplying polynomials, and then the second video we'll do special products and how we can apply those special products when we are evaluating functions. Okay, so take notes. Message me whenever you guys have questions during the video. 5.4, multiplying polynomials. All right, so let's just recall the distributive property. Hopefully you remember what that is. If not, I am about to show you. Okay, so here, if you remember when you were multiplying using the distributive property here, we would see that we would have to take this outside number and multiply everything that's inside the parentheses. So when I do that, I would get 6x minus 15. Okay, so this is your distributive property, and what we're doing now is doing that distributive property, but we're going to be doing it several times. Okay, so when we're multiplying polynomials by other polynomials, we are actually doing the distributive property several times. Okay, so let's have a look. And hopefully after the unit on exponents, let me just go back up here. So this is one example. Let me just do another one right off to the side here. Hopefully if you have something like this, 3x squared, and you have to distribute that to this here. Hopefully you understand that here you're multiplying like bases, x and x. So you're going to use the product rule, which says you can add the exponents. So here you would get 3 times 6 is 18. And then x squared and x6 is x to the 8th. And then over here you would get 12, because 3 times 4 is 12. And then x squared and x squared is x to the 4th. You add the exponents. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at multiplying by more than just a monomial. Okay, so now you might get something like this, 3x plus 2 and 4x plus 9. Okay, so what we end up doing here is we end up doing the distributive property. So it's kind of like you can ignore, it's like you can ignore this too, right? And if you distribute that 3x, we would get 12x squared plus 27x, right? And then let's go ahead and put that 2 back. Okay. And now you would distribute that 2, that positive 2. So you would ignore that 3x. And then here you would get 8x plus 18. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that back in. So here we got these two terms from distributing the 3x. Okay, we distributed the 3x first and we got these two terms. And then we distributed the positive 2 and we got these two terms. Okay, so that's how you would do this multiplication of polynomials. You just distribute each of these terms to all of these here. 3x times that, 3x times that. And that's how we get these two. 2 times that, and 2 times that. And that's how we get these. Okay? And then you would go ahead and combine like terms. We see that the two terms here in the middle are like terms. Okay, so you would just bring down the 12x squared, and then here you would get 35x, and you would bring down the plus 18. Okay, and this here would be your final answer when you multiply these two out. Okay, let's have you guys try one. Go ahead and try this one. Go ahead and multiply 2x minus 3 with 3x plus 2. Okay, so again, start with the 2x, distribute it to these, and then do the negative 3. This is a negative 3. Okay, go ahead and hit the pause button, and then come back to see if you get the same answer. Okay, you should have gotten 6x squared minus 5x minus 6 for your final answer. Okay, so if you did not get that, then just pay attention here. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Okay, and then 2x times 2 is positive 4x. So I'm done distributing the 2x. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. And then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Okay, and then I combine like terms. That would be the 2 here in the middle, positive 4x and negative 9x. And that will give me negative 5x. And I bring down the minus 6. Okay, so that's how you would get that. Okay, let's take a look at this one. 7y squared minus 4 times 2y squared minus 1. Okay, so still the same idea, same process. You would start with the 7y squared and distribute it across there. So 7y squared times 2y squared is 14. 2 times 7 is 14. And then here we add the exponents, and we get y to the 4th. And then 7y squared times negative 1 is negative 7y squared. Okay, so we're done with the 7y squared. We're going to distribute the negative 4. So negative 4 times 2y squared, that's going to be negative 8y squared. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Okay, and combining the like terms here in the middle. So I'll bring down the 14y to the 4th. And then I'll combine these two. That's negative 7 and negative 8. That's negative 15 y squared. And then bring down the 4. Okay? And this would be the final answer. Okay? Let's take a look at this one. Suppose that we have 2a plus b. We have that binomial. And suppose that we have this trinomial, 3a squared minus 4ab minus b squared. It still works the same. You still have to take this 2a and distribute it to all three of these terms. Okay, so let's start with that. 2a times 3a squared. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then I add the exponents and I get a cubed. 2a times this second term. So I get negative 8. I get a squared b. Okay, because 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. A times a is a squared. And then the b comes down. Okay, we have one more term. So 2a times this last term over here. So I get negative 2ab squared. Okay, because there's like a 1 here. All right, so we're done distributing the 2a. So now I'm going to start with the b. I have to do b times this, and that's going to give me 3a squared b. Then b times the middle term, so that will give me minus 4a b squared, because b times b is b squared. And then over here, I'm going to get negative because of this, negative, and I add the exponents, so b cubed. Okay, and then we look for like terms. Do we have any a cubes? No, so we'll bring that down. I'm going to cross them out so I keep track. Do we have any a squared b's? Yes, we do right here. Okay, so negative 8 plus 3, that's negative 5. A squared b's. Okay, do we have any ab squares? We do right here. These are like terms, so that's negative 2, negative 4 is negative 6. ab squared. And then bring down that negative b cubed. And that would be it. Okay, go ahead and try this one. And it doesn't matter which order you multiply them in. So I'm going to put the trinomial first, and I'll put the binomial second. You can either distribute the 6y cubed and then the negative 5y and then the 4. You can do it that way. So you'll be distributing 3 numbers to these two. Okay. Or if you want to go this direction, you can distribute the 4y squared to this, this, and this, and then distribute the negative 3 to this, this, and this. However you want to do it. You can either multiply these 3 with those 2, or those 2 with these 3. Okay, so go ahead and give it a try, and hit the pause button and come right back. All right, if you got this for the answer, 24y to the 5th minus 38y cubed plus 16y squared plus 15y minus 12. If you got this, then you are correct. Okay, if you didn't, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to go ahead and distribute this direction. So I'm going to do 4y times all 3 of these. So here, 4 times 6 is 24. Add the exponents, and I get y5, 24y5. Middle term, 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Add the exponents, and I get y cubed, negative 20y cubed. And then distributing over here, 4 times 4 is 16. So I get positive 16y squared. Okay, we're going to do the negative 3 now. Negative 3 times 6, negative 18 y cubed. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15y. And negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Okay, combining like terms, we don't have any y to the 5th. That's the only one. And then here we have y cubes. So I get negative 20 and negative 18 is negative 38 y cubed. And then no other y squares, no other y's, and no other 12s, no other constants. Okay, so that's how we get that right down here. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. 5cd times c plus 6d times c minus 8d. Okay, so we have three things here to multiply together. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'll see what I get. Okay, so I'm just going to multiply these two. So when I do that, I get 5c squared d, and then I'll get 30c d squared. Okay, so that's what I get here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and bring this one down. Okay, so I finished this multiplication. So now I need to do this multiplication. So I need to do these two. Okay, so 5c squared times 5c squared d times c is going to give me 5c cubed d, and 5 times negative 8 is negative 40 c squared d squared. I'm done multiplying this, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute this to these guys. So that is going to give me 30c squared d squared. So positive 30c squared d squared. And then over here, let's see, negative 240 c and d cubed. Okay. And do we have any like terms? We do right here, c squared d squared. So 5c cubed d. And here we get negative 10c squared d squared. That's when we combine those two. And then we have negative 240c d cubed. Okay, so we have that. All right, and let me just show you one more here when we have to multiply three binomials. There's a binomial, this binomial, and this binomial. So you basically just pick two first. So I'll just go ahead and do these two first. Okay, and so x times x is x squared. And then x times negative 1 is negative x. All I did was distribute. Okay, I'm going to distribute the 2, so I get positive 2x and minus 2. Okay, and I'm going to just bring down this x minus 3. Okay, and here I can combine like terms. So I get x squared plus x minus 2, and then I have this. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So last time I showed you distribution where I took the binomial here and I distributed that direction, right? So I'm going to go this direction to show you that it doesn't matter which way you go. Okay, so here I'm just going to distribute the x squared to these two. Then I'll distribute the x to these two, and then I'll distribute the negative 2 to these two. Okay, so starting with the x squared times x is x cubed. Okay, x squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Done with that one. Now I do this one. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. I'm done with that one. Now I move on to the negative 2. Negative 2 times x, negative 2x. And then negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And then I combine my like terms. I only have one x cubed. And then I have these here, x squares. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2, x squared. And then I have these x's, negative 3 and negative 2 is negative 5x. And then that lonely little 6 over there. And that would be my answer. Okay, so it doesn't matter which two you begin with. Just start with 2, multiply them. Whatever answer you get, then multiply it with the one that was left out. Okay. All right, so that is it for multiplying polynomials. Stay tuned for the next video where I demonstrate some special products, which will give you a formula that is a bit of a shortcut for multiplying special products. Okay, I will see you next time.